So first of all, I'd like to thank you for your response. It was very well thought out, and you answered my question, which is a pleasant surprise. um, and I am, shall we say, relieved to hear that you believe that religion is something that should be allowed to wither away. Uh, but I think you added something very important, and it's a very important distinction that um, you, in your opinion, the difference, the primary difference, the principal difference between fanatics, extremists, and moderates is that moderates do not take the scripture literally. What we won't talk about what literally means, but they the fanatics take the scripture literally. They will always defer to the scripture because the scripture contains no errors in their opinion. Whereas the moderates are on the first step towards becoming more rational, where they defer to rationality, where it becomes obvious to them that there are parts of the scripture that must be wrong, okay? And they don't abandon the whole thing wholesale. It's more of a stepwise process. And, obviously becoming atheist is the end result. When you no longer believe any of the scripture is true, that's when you become an atheist. Now, the moderates believe there are parts of the scripture that are not literally true. Perhaps they're true in some metaphorical sense, okay? But not literally true. So that's very interesting. It's how, for example, people can believe in evolution and still believe in Genesis because they ask the question, well, how long is a day? Who knows how long a day is? Back then there was no Earth spinning with the sun. Who knows how long a day is? So when they say a day, we don't know how long a day is. Things like that. So that's how moderates are able to reconcile rational thinking with scripture. Okay, and I understand the part about not posing too much of a threat to them because we want to encourage rational thought, and we don't want them to feel as though they're being isolated or threatened in any way, and we want them to become more and more part of our society. So I understand that, all right? So, and basically I don't have any disagreements, okay? My disagreements are primarily with the fanaticals. They're the easiest target, as I said earlier, and they're the ones I'm trying to go after, not people who are willing to look at the Koran or their scripture as not literally true, but perhaps as a source of inspiration or as something that's metaphorically true in some other sense than what is literally true. Okay, so I get that. You also talked about values, and that's something I'd like to talk a little more about, and the idea that rationality, math, and science can't offer values, and that religion offers some sort of value system. I'm going to turn that kind of on its head, if you will, because to me, human nature includes certain values that we've inherited through evolution. And scientists are discovering more and more about how humans and primates and other animals, how social animals have inherited a degree of, shall we say, good manners, benevolence, altruism, that they are kind to their members, okay, of their society. And it's ingrained within their genes, okay? Now an evolutionist, someone who believes in strict evolution, might try to claim that genes are ruthlessly selfish. And while that may be true, I think that's a lot of the reason why evolution has made man and other animals as altruistic as they are, is through enlightened self-interest. I don't think that people sit there and calculate for every action whether or not there's going to be some return on investment for their kindness. Okay, I don't think that kind of calculation takes place. I think it's something that's happened in evolution, and that people who are inclined to be kind had an evolutionary advantage. And genes are ruthlessly selfish. I have to agree with that, but that doesn't mean that beings such as human beings are ruthlessly selfish. And I think to a large extent, understanding human nature is vital, because to me, bringing about the happiest and the best, and the most peaceful results is creating a system wherein the participants can stay more or less true to their human nature. And that's a lot of what politics is all about, all right? And we see a lot of ugly stuff in politics because there's a lot of ugly stuff in human nature that people can exploit, you know. But you know, we're trying to appeal to their better behavior, their better characteristics, okay? And that's what we'd like to do, you know, with rational thought and everything. So I think that science and math and logic and rational thinking, I think that is giving us a much better idea of what our true nature is. And with that comes the ability for us to conceive of a system that allows us to be the happiest given our nature and given our condition. So I think that religion, rather than being a source of values, I think religion is more, shall we say, an endpoint for values. I think, you know, in the Bible it's claimed that man was created in God's image. I think the exact opposite. I think God was created in man's image. And I think the scripture and the values contained in the scripture reflect man's nature, okay? Not God's nature bestowed upon man, but man projecting upon a higher being. So anyways, that's all I got to say for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.